Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Clint Zoka, and welcome to another My Thoughts On, and the first double My Thoughts On of this year. Wow, that's crazy. Who would have thought I would be doing this sort of thing for about 3.5 years, maybe 2? Anyways, we're going to do another My Thoughts On, and this is on How to Train Your Dragon 1 and 2. And Americans, I'm very sorry to say this, but the movie actually comes out in the UK here tomorrow. So I'm very sorry you have to wait, but don't worry, you got the Lego Movie 2 coming out next week. So do we. Hey, I guess we're on the same boat then, eh? Yes, How to Train Your Dragon, one of the most popular animated franchises. And no, it's not by Disney, it is by none other than DreamWorks. Yes, you all know DreamWorks. They're like the big competition with Pixar. They've made such legendary films as the Shrek franchise, and, well, mostly. Madagascar was pretty good. Kung Fu Panda is a lot of fun. What else? Well, I think that's about it. They have made some... Well, they're not quite as perfect as Pixar, but they have made a couple of films, like Trolls, Boss Baby, Home, Peabody and Sherman, Penguins of Madagascar wasn't perfect in any way. They've still made good stuff as well, so don't worry about that. They've got, Rise of the Guardians, they've got the recent Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. They've also got The Croods, which was very good. Ants wasn't too bad. They even collaborated with DreamWorks with Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit, which was amazing. Chicken Run was pretty good, but a bit underrated. Flushed Away wasn't anything amazing, to be honest. Over the Hedge I thought was pretty good. And Shark Tale is easily the worst. So, point is, I like DreamWorks. They're not Pixar, but they are better than, a bit better than like Illumination or Blue Sky. And not that I have anything against those studios. I do, but at least DreamWorks actually has care put into them. Granted, at times they can be a bit like Illumination and Blue Sky, where their films are mostly just quality over quantity. Same with DreamWorks, but it's sort of the other way around at times. Anyways, right. That's DreamWorks for you. DreamWorks is not, again, it's not perfect, but I like the studio and I like the films. Most of them anyways. Right, so How to Train Your Dragon is originally a book series. And I do remember reading the book at school, and I remember watching the film at school. Well, that's not when I first watched it. I actually watched it way back when it came out in 2010, and I still remember seeing it, and that's amazing. The film hasn't come out. The first film, I haven't seen the first film since 2010, which was about like 10 years ago, which is kind of unbelievable, in my opinion. Yeah, so if you haven't heard of the film, which I would assume you have, but for those who are not aware of the movie, it's about this little village, little town called Burke. And guess what? All the Vikings are Scottish. Aye, that's what we like in a film like that, yeah? Don't worry, I'm not going to talk like a Scotty. And our main character, named Hiccup, voiced by Jay... Oh, God, how do you pronounce his second name? Jay Brucani? He is what you'd call the cliche. The little dweeb who's the loser, the one who doesn't like to fight, and he's not quite like his father, stoic. Voiced by Gerard Butler. Until one day, He traps a dragon. He catches a dragon with something, even though the village that he lives in despise dragons and they will kill any dragon that comes in their way. But for Hiccup, with this Night Fury, he starts to grow somewhat of a friendship with the dragon, showing that not all dragons can be, dangerous. They can be friendly and friends as well. So it's a race against time for Hiccup to show to his father that all dragons can still be good if you gain their trust. And there's some other bigger conspiracy going on as well. Okay, I know I'm not the first to admit this, but the first half of the movie, while not entirely flawless and enjoyable, it's a teensy wincy bit cliched. You've got the loser character who has a secret. His father wants him to, train and kill dragons. There's like a love interest, there's comic reliefs, and then he gets better at it, and people start to pay attention to him, and it's very cliched. And I thought this movie was just going to be generic. But by the second act, the movie gets better. Not perfect, but it gets better than what it was from the beginning. Its execution-wise is actually just a lot more smoother than other DreamWorks films, where most of them will have like pop cultural references, and it'll just take its time to get there, even though it's wasted its time with humour. Here, not only is the film funny when it's at times it's funny, but it's not played on for laughs. It's actually just like genuinely funny, especially with Gobber and Hiccup as well. It's surprisingly dramatic, and it doesn't like play it for laughs, and it doesn't feel forced. It feels genuine, especially with Hiccup and Toothless. It's also action-packed as well, and when it comes to the flying scenes, it's absolutely amazing. So there is a lot. So in this movie, they have a lot to give you to make you feel like you're part of this world, and in my opinion, that's absolutely incredible, and I absolutely applaud the film for that, because the movie, I would love to live in this world where you can befriend dragons and ride them. It's so cool. It's just that the plot's very predictable and you know what's coming, but it's not going to be 10 out of 10, but it doesn't stop the film from being bad. It's just that the first half was a little, you've seen it before and you know what's going to happen, but they scratch it off very quickly and then it gets better. I wouldn't say this is like 8.1 top 200 on the IMDb list. Seriously, look it up. It's on there. It's madness. But I'll give them for trying something new with this formula and not making it too predictable. Yes, it's predictable, but at least they're not going with the same storyline and just going with the, same outcomes, kinda. I'll give them that they tried. But at the same time, the plot, the execution, the humour, and the drama can still make up for its not-so-great first half. Say what you want, but I just found it cliched. Nonetheless, the movie's plot and execution is great. And everything else is great, just not that first half. Animation. Well, this is a bit different. Kung Fu Panda's animation is beautiful, and, Shrek's is quite fun. Madagascar's a bit cartoony, but I think this is probably the first one where it's real. Okay, not to a point where it's realistic. It has a bit of a cartoony look to it, but it's not too over cartoony. And I'll put it that way. The textures on the characters and the dragons look outstanding, especially on the dragons, where the details and the textures, and they look so real. The backgrounds are gorgeous, and it looks like you're in a new world. Burke looks amazing. The textures on the characters' coats look great. The hair, and heck, on Hiccup, even like the little beauty, freckles and all that. I never thought I'd say this, but DreamWorks, you actually have attention to detail. I mean, yeah, Pixar does, but I don't think I've seen another animation studio did that with attention to detail like that. Okay, Blue Sky has done that, and other studios, but this one is kind of remarkable and kind of no, it's really damn good. From 2010, this movie still looks good, and besides, it actually doesn't look like something cartoony. It actually looks like a real world of Burke. I mean, yeah, again, the character animation is cartoony, but it's actually smooth. It's not over the top, and when it gets to the physical humor, it's actually quite funny. And Toothless, oh my god, he is so adorable. I want one. I mean, I wish I could, but And speaking of Toothless, all the other dragons have great detail, like I said, but their designs is what stand out, and their abilities and what they can do, especially the Red Death. The big dragon, which looks amazing. Wow, I never thought I'd say this, but DreamWorks, you might actually be on competition with Pixar with great looking animation. Now hold the phone. It's not perfect. Yes, the animation is great, but it looks a bit, kind of generic at times. Just a little bit. And I never thought I'd say this, and I'm sorry to say it, but Legends of the Guardians have better animation in this. Only because that movie looks real. But this one's like amazing animation. Just not quite perfect. But from 2010, it still looks great. DreamWorks, I'm really happy you've actually made animation that, for once, actually looks great. And I applaud you for that. I mean, if you wanted to make a dragon film, how else would you make animation like this? Well, simple. Ideas and, creativity and, attention to detail. In other words, I love the animation. I really do. I think it's probably one of DreamWorks' best characters and acting. Our main character, Hiccup, who is the main character, is... Well, at first I thought he was just kind of annoying with a high-pitched voice, and sounds like he's going through puberty. Well, I can't do the actor's voice because I don't know. Okay, at first I didn't really think he was interesting. I thought he was just kind of, just a bit generic. He's a bit dweeby. He's like the loser kid or something. But as the film would go on, I actually found him tolerable, especially when it came to him and Toothless's friendship, and it's actually quite sweet, and I actually found him quite endearing. And while he's not my favourite per se, but I like him. I like Hiccup. Stoic the Vast is possibly my favourite character in the film, not only because he's voiced by Gerard Butler, but he's also likeable, understandable, and he's not one of them fathers that disobeys their son for no reason. He's not a bad guy, he's just concerned about his son's safety. And Hiccup is there to help him change his mind about these what's supposed to be hideous and dangerous creatures, but they're actually friendly if you take the time. And Stoic is great, and he's fun and funny and likeable, and you can see that he cares about Hiccup. So he's my favourite character in the movie. Gobber is quite funny. I think he's my second favourite character. I mean, sure, the humour may be a bit modern, but it's nothing like off-putting or anything. Astrid is the love interest of Hiccup. She's quite good. She's quite funny and fun, and her relationship with Hiccup may start off a bit douchey, but it gets better as it goes on. Snarlout, voiced by Jonah Hill, it seems like the bully type, but he gets better. Fish Legs, Rough Nut, Tough Nut. You think these comic reliefs would be, I don't know, annoying? I mean, like the first act, they were kind of off a little bit, but that didn't really stop me from liking them a little bit. I think all three of them are great as the film goes on, but it's just that they were just kind of stereotypes. And now, Okay, I know I said Stoic and Gobbler are my two favourite characters, but if you want to know who my favourite dragon character is, and yes, you're going to say, oh, this is obvious. Yes, it is in fact Toothless. Yes, predictable. I don't care. I love Toothless. He is funny, adorable, sweet, just, God, everything about him I just love. I kind of want a pet dragon. I just want him to be Toothless because he's so cute and sweet, and you love Toothless, and he's great. Other characters in the films, like, actually, I don't remember. I think that's all there is. I mean, yeah, there's like the Red Death and that old lady there, the wise one. But, well, first off, the Red Death doesn't appear until the third act, and I wouldn't technically say that it's like the biggest villain in the franchise, but I say it's the main villain of the movie, and the other character doesn't quite do a lot. The characters are not perfect, but I think their chemistry and especially Toothless and Hiccup's friendship is what makes this film kind of stand out and special. The voice acting is not bad at all, actually. Gerard Butler and Craig Ferguson are great. America Ferrara as Astrid, I think that's her name, is great. Jay Baru, Jay Barus as Hiccup, not bad, but sounds a bit out of place. Jonah Hill, Christopher Mintz-Pliz, T.J. Miller, Christian Wig. Yes, you heard me. They're actually a lot of fun as well, and I like them, well, even more than I can imagine, actually. So you got some great characters that have great personalities and great chemistry, and two that have great development, great voice acting. It feels like you can love these characters over and over, especially Toothless. I'm sorry, but he's oh god, I just love Toothless. To be honest, ever since I saw the film from 2010, and as the years would go on, as people would start praising the film, I liked it when I was little, but nowadays I was like, it's okay. It's a bit overrated, I suppose. I gave it a 6 back then, but after rewatching it recently, my mind is completely changed after I rewatched it. Okay, it's not perfect, but it is good. It is possibly one of the best DreamWorks films out there. Top 10, not top 5, unfortunately. The animation is amazing. The plot, while not quite original, does something a little bit new with it and keeps it fresh. The humour is quite funny, and when it's emotional, it feels real and it doesn't feel forced. The characters are fun, and our two main characters are really damn good. The voice acting is absolutely fun, and it sounds like they're putting a lot of effort into it. I know it's just okay, yeah, it's celebrities and all, but really, they kind of fit their characters, if you ask me. And on a side note, John Powell's score is amazing. Top 5. Along with Rio, Ferdinand, Ice Age. Can't think what else. Maybe Pan. I don't know. I know people have said, oh, the music is amazing. The music is outstanding. John Powell's score is endearing, amazing to listen to. It's epic. It's beautiful. I'm glad he got the Oscar nomination. I just wish he would have won. Yeah, you didn't think a DreamWorks film would get an Oscar nomination for Best Original Music. That's pretty rare. So for How to Train Your Dragon, I'll give it a 8.6 out of 10. Not one of the best DreamWorks films, but it's definitely in the top 10, and I really enjoyed the film. Well, when I say one of the best DreamWorks films, I don't mean as in top 5. It's in the top 10. If you haven't seen the film, do check it out. It is really worth it. Okay, now here's where things get better. How to Train Your Dragon 2. It takes place, I think, a few years after the first movie. Okay, so, Hiccup and Toothless are back, yada, yada, yada. All the characters are back. However, there's something going on here. There is this there's this madman, there's this villain named Drago Bloodfist, who wants to control all the dragons and take over Burke. However, at the same time, Hiccup and Toothless find out that Hiccup's mum actually lives, and she's voiced by Kate Blanchett, and she teaches Hiccup there is more to dragons than there is, and then they have to try and stop the villain. This is just like the first one. It's pretty simple and straightforward, but again, its execution wise, it's fantastic. But unlike the first one, this movie actually didn't start off slow or predictable. I'm not joking, it actually felt kind of natural. It felt like a genuinely great kids movie. No, family movie. It's not like trying to waste your time or anything. It's just really fun humor. It's really entertaining. It gets the story going. And also, this is kind of rare, but this is probably one of the first franchises where our main characters have aged. Think of it as Harry Potter, except not about wizards. So, in the first film, Hiccup was like a teen, I guess like 13, but here he looks like he's 17 or older. I'm like, damn, I can see why this movie has got a lot of Hiccup fans. I will not go any further because I think you know what I mean by that. Go all Gaga girls, I don't mind. The humour is a little bit more funnier, although at times it does feel a little repeated, and it does get, when it comes to like the softer and heartfelt moments, it's a bit distracted, but not in a bad way necessarily. Let's see. When it comes to the action in the movie, there's a lot more than the first one, and the action here is exciting, and it definitely gets you on the edge of your seat, and that's really damn good. When the movie gets dramatic, it gets dramatic, and it doesn't feel forced like the first one. However, and I will not give anything away, but someone actually dies, and when the person dies, it gets really sad. And again, without giving anything away, they actually did it in just the most touching, amazing way. No humor thrown in there. It's... Damn it, why didn't this movie win Best Animated Feature? Look, I like Big Hero 6 and all, but... Oh god, this movie is... I'm not joking, I did kind of cry at this movie, because it's just... It has a sad moment. Someone dies. It's actually one of the major characters. Okay, the character may seem obvious, but it's still really sad, and it's kind of unexpected. Heck, even for a DreamWorks movie. And I thought Inside Out was sad. This one, whoa, this is heavy. Yeah, unlike some animated films where, someone dies, but you don't really care about them that much. There's a bit of humor there, just a tiny bit, but this one is like, no humor. They do it in just... it's so sad, but so beautiful. And I have to applaud DreamWorks for that. At least they're taking risks and not playing it safe. That's what I like about it. Not much else to it. There are a couple of surprises there, but not a lot. It's just fun, funny. It has some clever adult humor, and heck, even though the plot is about taking down Drago, it's also about Hiccup spending time with his mum. And even though that's filler, it's still quite fun. And, you can learn a bit more about the world of Burke and dragons and all that. And there's secrets too. I know I said the first film's plot and execution's not all that original, even though it gets better. This one, completely original. Say what you want, but this movie definitely knows how to get humor, emotion, drama, action, suspense, surprises, just everything right. And this is why I think this why people are overlooking this film. This film is quite underrated, and this is why I think this film deserves a bit more attention, because it knows how to be a movie. Animation. Wow. And I mean wow. And I thought the first movie's animation was amazing. This one is just incredible. First off, the attention to detail is great. The dragon's skin texture looks amazing. There's even new dragons, and their designs look amazing. Hiccup's amazing. I mean, the suit that he wears and the glide, the glider that he has, and the wings and the suit. It's oh God, this is why I want to live in Burke, because it's so cool to have like a suit like that and have your own dragon and fly around. That's so cool. The character animations on the humans look great. They have a bit of a Pixar quality to them, but they look great. Hiccup looks like he's getting really older, and he looks a lot better than the first movie. Astrid as well, and the other characters, new characters like Drago, Eret, son of Eret, and Valka, their designs look fantastic. The lighting, the textures, the backgrounds, the action scenes, and even when it gets to the emotional scenes, and even the physical comedy with Toothless, it's I can see there is so much effort in here. And it's so gorgeous to look at, and it's not like an average looking film like the first one is not quite as average. It's a little bit average, but this one looks like, wow, it feels like a different movie, and that's amazing. What else is there? Also, I didn't mention this from the first film, but I've been hearing that the first movie is like the best, a great example of how to do a 3D movie. I don't think I've seen the film in 3D. I think I've seen this film in 3D. If I haven't, I wish I did, because this movie would look amazing in 3D. Pixar, move aside. Disney, go over there. DreamWorks, they still have got what it takes to make perfection in animation. Look, I love Pixar and DreamWorks, Pixar and Disney's animation, but this animation makes me wish that DreamWorks would do more like this, because this is DreamWorks at their best. Okay, I know I said the first one's one of their best. Kung Fu Panda, Shrek, you name it. But this one, no joke, this is the best that they've done with the animation in any of their movies. Period. Characters and acting. Hiccup in this movie is actually better. I mean, granted, the film isn't entirely about him. Technically it's about him finding his mum. But he's grown as a character. He's funny, likable, caring, and he would do anything to protect his people, especially Toothless as well. He was endearing, and I enjoyed him throughout the entire film, and I think he's a great main character. And he has aged, and he's a lot more mature as well, and I enjoy him a lot more here. Same with the other characters, like Astrid and Snarlout, Fishlegs, Roughnut, Toughnut, you name it. I mean, yeah, they're comic relief again, but at least they actually have something to do that's connected to the plots, in a way. Stoic the Vast is back, and he's still a great character, still enjoyable. He has a bigger role than the first movie, a little bit, I suppose. But as the film goes on, what they do with this, what they do with Stoic makes the film a 10 out of 10, and I won't say what because it's spoilers once more, but what they do with this character, well, first off, it's unexpected. Two, it makes the movie better. I won't say any more. Gobbler is still funny, even though his humour can kind of interrupt the serious moments, but there isn't too many, so it doesn't badly damage the film, so I'll let it slide. Right. Who else? Toothless, right. The first movie, Toothless, was great. I really like Toothless, but here I just absolutely adore him. Whenever it comes to him, getting separated from Hiccup and he's trying to get Toothless back, it's not only really sad, it's more like, aww, because you love them two, and their chemistry together is brilliant. And I love Toothless, and I thought he was great here, and he was so cute, so funny, and when it gets dramatic, I actually kind of cried. I was like, oh, so no, not Toothless. I know it's predictable and all, but I don't care. I love Toothless. I think Toothless is possibly the best, dragon in the series. There are also new dragons as well. Like there's the Bewilder Beast. There's that one dragon that's always around Toothless that Volker has. Speaking of which, Volker is, and this is not really a spoiler, she is actually Hiccup's mum, and I quite liked her, even though there wasn't a lot to her. There is a backstory and a bit of a reveal with Stoic, but that's not saying a lot. She's funny, she's likable, she's kind. You can feel for her and all that, and I enjoy her, and I wish there was more of her. Hopefully in Hidden World. Eret is the secondary antagonist turned supporting character. He was fine. I didn't think he was, pointless. Well, he's not. Okay, he's not entirely pointless. He is actually part of Drago Bloodfist's army. He can get a bit annoying at times, but Kit Harington, come on, can't go wrong with him. Just like Volker, I wish there's actually more of him than there is in here. Probably in the Hidden World. And then you got Drago Bloodfist. Have all the DreamWorks films, you got. Oh crap! I'm trying to remember. You got Lord Farquaad. You got the villains from the Kung Fu Panda movies. You got the villains from. Villain. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think. You've got the villains from, you got Pitch from Rise of the Guardians. You've got all them people, even the Red Death from the first movie, but this one is probably the best one. Not only is Drago a fearless, scary, intimidating villain, but he's possibly the one that actually got a big reaction out of me. Okay, his goal is to take control of dragons, but what they reveal about him, how he became evil, how he wants to take over dragons, what they did to him and his family, I was shocked about what they did to him. If you know what I mean, if you've seen the movie, then you know what I mean. But that's what makes me love him more. At least this movie is not cartoony. It's taking risks, and it's showing that there's a bit of a humanity side to this movie, and I love that. Drago is intimidating. He's actually quite well fleshed out, and I really like him as a villain. I think he's really intimidating. I hope he returns in Hidden World, because I would love to see more of him. There's the Bewilder Beasts, which are quite cool as well. New dragons, which is great. Not much else there to say there. Right, so the characters have greatly improved with their chemistry and development, and they're very entertaining. The voice acting's better. Right, let's start with the new ones. Like I mentioned, Kit Harington is Eret. He's great fun. Cate Blanchett is a national treasure. And the guy who voices Drago Bloodfist is great. Gerard Butler, how can you go wrong? And again, Christopher Mintz-Plant, Jonah Hill, Christian Wiig, T.J. Miller, and Jay Buchanan and America Ferrara, I think. Those five are still great. The Hiccup voice actor has greatly improved from before. He's actually a lot of fun here as well. Craig Ferguson as Gobber is so much fun. And I love the voice acting. I think the voice acting is just brilliant. So again, not only do you have great characters who have improved with new ones that are so interesting, you got great voice acting. What more else do you want? Side note, John Powell's score gets better. I think this is probably the best that he's ever gotten in terms of scoring movies. Yeah, the first movie's score is amazing, but this one's even better. Oh yeah. So yeah, as you can tell, I like the second movie better. Not only do I think it's the best in the franchise so far, I think it's the best DreamWorks film. Not top 5, best. Yes, better than Shrek, better than the Kung Fu Panda movies, yes, better than Madagascar, even B-Movie, even though I do not know why it's still a meme. And yes, better than Boss Baby and Trolls, even though they're not that great. This movie is the best DreamWorks film so far. Outstanding animation, great characters, wonderful voice acting, really funny, surprisingly powerful and touching drama that works, a original story that tries something new and is interesting, not predictable at all, and John Powell's score is outstanding. Please go and see this movie. If you haven't seen the first one, I suggest you watch that first and then the sequel, but the sequel is just way better than the first one. And I'll happily give How to Train Your Dragon 2 a 10 out of 10. Alright, yeah, so that's it. I'm sorry if I think the second movie's better, but that's just my opinion. I still like the first one a lot, but the second one's better. So yeah, first DreamWorks, my thoughts on. Wow, that's crazy. Wow. So yeah, next will be The Hidden World, which I will be seeing on Saturday, or by the time you're watching this, tomorrow. So I'll probably have to do my thoughts on a Sunday, or maybe after I see the film on Saturday. I have no clue. Anyways, if you have seen both of these movies, let me know what you think below. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. And until next time, bye for now.